Luka's going to have a decision to make on August 2nd is the earliest that he can make a decision in regards to an extension with the Lakers. And if it's a shorter term extension, then that just means that he's waiting to hit 10 years so then he could sign that super max, and whatever money he didn't get in Dallas, he'll be able to make up with, an eventual contract with the Lakers. Maybe he does something short term just to kind of make sure, hey, we driving this thing in the right direction. Is the franchise moving in the right direction? I wonder what he makes of some of the chatter that we've had so far in the summer. That's really just been a pretty underwhelming summer, right? Nothing crazy. It's not like the Lakers went out and traded for KD. I'm just using as an example. Not that they were going to do that, but there hasn't been a blockbuster. There hasn't been this huge splash for the Lakers, number one. And I think, the other side of things, to just look at it, I wonder if there's an understanding from his perspective that the franchise is in a very unique position where there's a 14-year gap between Luka Doncic and a 14-year gap between LeBron James. And as great as LeBron is, and as great as LeBron has been, 23rd season in the NBA, I wonder if he's in full support of where the Lakers are right now. For all I know, and I don't think this is the case, because I think if Luka was putting pressure on the Lakers, I think the Lakers would be listening, hypothetically speaking. Let's just say Luka was hitting up Rob Pelinka, was hitting up Genie and the Lakers front office and just saying, this is not going to get it done. I mean, you got me and LeBron, and this is what you've done so far. Then I think there'd be a little bit more noise. Then I think the Lakers probably would have a little bit more desperate of a strategy. Because right now, even if the Lakers are saying, well, we're building for the future, really what you're building for is Luka. That's it. I mean, Luka's your number one priority. He's your number two priority. He's your number three priority. And then you could start figuring out everything else after that. Does Luka look at the current situation? Does he have any issues with it? Does he believe in the way the Lakers are planning for the future? I think up to this point, I don't think there's been any indication that he doesn't. And I think the Lakers are not making moves unless they're having some type of discussion with Luka about, all right, how do you feel about this? Okay, if we go out there, Ayton had mentioned that he had talked to Luka, and I'm sure there was, some type of conversation between the Lakers and Luka about DeAndre Ayton. That seems to be the priority for the Lakers. It should be the priority for the Lakers. And all this other chatter that's been going on in regards to, LeBron and what happens in regards to his future and everything else, I'm sure Luka's kind of taking a back seat, like, all right, you guys figure this thing out. I'm not going to get involved, but build me a winner. And if the pitch is this is the best way to build you a winner, then they're obviously going to take their chances with that in mind. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments here. All right, maybe no BT today. LeBron was our most consistent and healthy player last playoffs. Every game was something else with Luka. That's a good point. I think here's the problem with that. I think we all agree that, Luka, the Luka that we remember in Dallas was not the Luka that we were seeing with the Lakers. And maybe some of that was his own figuring out in his head, I can't believe I got traded. Maybe some of that had to do with his body and just not being in good enough shape. Maybe some of that had to do with the roster. Just, hey, if I'm going to be elite, there's certain things that I need that we don't have on this team. LeBron was the most consistent. He was, I don't know if you can say healthiest player because he did end up injuring his knee, but he still, that's what LeBron does, just kind of fights through it and plays that final game. But here's, I think, the thing that you forgot to mention in this entire thing. The Lakers were also out in 5 games. Minnesota also dominated them. So I don't know what it means to, like, I don't think there's anybody walking around and saying, yeah, but Rui had a great playoff run. Yeah, but Luka had great first halves. Like, I don't think there was anything to really walk away from the postseason and anybody stick their chest out, if that makes sense. Let's see what else. Luka didn't ask to be on the Mavs either. Okay. You're right. He got traded there, but then he eventually liked it there. What do you want Pelinka to do? Now, some of these, by the way, are people commenting to each other, so I'm kind of jumping in a little bit late on these. What do you want Pelinka to do? No GM can do much more with the salary cap situation, the average trade assets we have, and I am very anti-Pelinka. Yeah, that's the one thing that I've said is that's why I kind of hesitate with, well, trade Austin Reeves, get rid of that 2031, get rid of Dalton Connect. Yeah, if you feel like you're getting, what you need back. But there are certain teams that are being more aggressive than the Lakers right now. They probably feel like they're in a window that makes a little bit more sense. I think there's always things to complain about when it comes to Pelinka. I mean, I'm not here to try to defend Rob Pelinka. I could definitely find things to complain about with Pelinka. But this summer, I think he's probably doing what everyone within that front office has discussed. If there isn't a deal that makes sense, let's just pump the brakes. Let's wait. When they had LeBron and Anthony Davis, there was a crazy amount of pressure to try to do something right away. I think the fact that they got Luka and he's only 26, they know what the future looks like, and I think there's probably a little bit more a sigh of relief that they can breathe. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.